What was one of the challenges you had to face, rather physically or mentally, and how did you overcome it?
Bruh, you have to ask me that?
You are not going to talk about training. Not training with me.
Yo, serious, like, we got a half an hour, and you get your half an hour's worth, like, plus some, like, it really is. I'm not even joking. It's a real, I come in, I'm all psyched up. I'm like, okay, great. Keep your mouth shut today. Don't cuss. But really, the people in the gym, I'm a nice person. And, yeah.
Good day, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of For Health and Happiness. I am your host, IFBB Pro Hafid James, and we are here in the amazing Irie studio. So before we get started, again, we're in this new phase, so there's always going to be these new milestones, but I'm just really excited about it. Our last video we did went over 2,000 views, which I think was crazy. I wasn't expecting that. Like, that was a huge jump from our previous ones. And when we looked to see about the traffic, where the traffic was coming from, they were coming from YouTube recommendations. So it was because you guys liked it, you guys watched it, you followed, you subscribed, you shared. So again, thank you very much. I want to keep seeing this page grow. Most importantly, I'm just hoping I'm giving you guys useful information. Again, I want to help you in your health journey. If anything, I just want you to look at health at a different perspective. So continue to join, continue to like, share it with a friend, and let's see how big we can get the page. Now, normally we are live, but we're not going to be live today because we're doing a special interview. When we are live, you can follow us on YouTube and join the conversation. You will get the repost of this interview on Saturday. For the podcast, it'll be up on Thursday, and you can get your podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your favorite podcast destination. Now, as I said, today is going to be a very special episode. What I wanted to do today is actually bring on one of my healthy lifestyle clients. And what my objective is for this, sometimes when people listen to me or hear my journey, they separate themselves because I've been doing it for so long, or I'm a professional bodybuilder, so I don't go through the same struggles, even though I do. But what I like to do whenever I get the opportunity is share my lifestyle client's journey, because these are just the average person. You know these people, you see these people every day. And I'm hoping that listening to their story, their triumphs, their failures, the good and bad, you could take something from it. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to my lifestyle client, Frankco.
What's happening?
How you feeling today?
No pressure. Feeling good.
No pressure at all. We're just here talking.
Yeah. No,
now, Frankco, what I want you to do is just tell a little bit about yourself, and I want you to use this opportunity. This is a special opportunity for you, because if anyone trains around your time at Beast Gym, they might have a different persona of who they think you are. So this is your time to let them know this is the real Frankco, not that person, not that very angry person in the gym. This is the real you.
Yeah, you don't have to put me on blast. But yeah, my name is Frankco Harris. Basically, completing my doctorate right now at Oxford, and I'm home doing like field research. I'm studying the gang violence issue in Bermuda. That's a very simplified way of putting it. But yeah, I've been in the UK now. It would make 19 years in July. So I've been back home since last July, and I'll be going back in October for about a year, and then moving back permanently.
Moving back here permanently?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what made you want to start the program?
So, I had kind of like observed you through social media, and I was just like paying attention to the detail and the knowledge that you had. And I kind of felt like, okay, when I came back, I wanted to take my health and my fitness to another level. And when I was observing you, I mean, I consider myself a nerd, right? And I thought you were a nerd from a distance. So I was like, okay.
I'm very easily recognizable as a nerd.
So like, I felt like I could be like safe in your hands. It's kind of like going to a doctor, I was like thinking about it. I was like, okay, if I put my trust in this and their professionalism and their knowledge and their skill, then, I'm okay, because I kind of feel like some trainers and some things that I see are so like focused on the aesthetics. And I wanted a bit more than that. Well, that's partially true. So like initially it was the PT training side, but I have my best friend, like we talk a lot about health and fitness and whatnot. And I just felt like at 40 years old, I was like, I'm trying to preserve the sexy. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at, like in the preservation stage. So I was like, no, I think the nutrition side, is equally important. So I wanted to kind of like tap into that.
Okay. And, I just want to touch on just some of the things you said. Like, it really means a lot when I've had clients say that they trust me. And that's something I put a lot of pride in. I don't go and talk about it, but I want to be that person that you guys know you can trust. Even if I say things, and I've told you things often, I don't agree with, I don't believe, I think you're doing wrong. But anything I ever say, anything I ever do is always important that you guys know it's coming from a good place. At the end of the day, I told all you guys day one, your journey is my journey. I want to treat it as such, and I want you to get the most out of it. So I do just want to say thank you for trusting in me, because that is tough, especially because I'm giving you information that you're like, oh, that's not what I've been thinking for the last 30, 40 years. But I'm glad you're here to kind of show for it. So through the program, what were some of the things that you got from it? You're thinking of your endurance, your strength, weight, or anything?
Wow, there's a lot actually. So first of all, it felt like you in a very safe way and in a cool way, like stripped me down from all of my kind of preconceived notions and my ideas. And I consider myself, again, I am a social scientist, so I know how to read journal articles. I know how to read critically and like do that level of thinking. And in some way I had already been doing that with fitness, not just reading magazine articles or the most flashiest Instagram reels or whatever. Like I had done some like real critical thinking around things, but actually, like coming into your domain, I was like, okay, this is another level, right? So I liked how the program from the beginning was very simple, like very simple things. Okay, this week we're going to track this and we're going to do that. So initially, again, like I had an understanding or a moderate understanding of macros and like nutrition, but again, that like preconditioning still was like protein, gotta get all my, and not really paying attention to things like healthy fats and like also that confusion around carbs, right? So like on my own, I'm kind of like going through so many different cycles of like, okay, I'm trying to like lose a little bit of weight or whatever, so I need to like reduce my carbs, and then I'm like, actually I'm super tired, right? And then the science behind it, and I'm listening to you and I'm understanding that those carbs don't have to be like the monster, they're fuel, right? So just like breaking down the science behind it, but in a real time way was really kind of like phenomenal for me at first, like, and then just really testing to see if I'm getting stronger. And I was speaking to, like, I just tell everybody about my little gym situation, because like what you were talking about earlier, it is crazy. Like if anybody sees me in the gym, I apologize. I'm really a nice person and I'm very respectful, but like there is something about like being pushed beyond my physical limits. I think it's that short man syndrome, because I was always like tiny and short, and it makes me feel weak. So like you just take me there. If I say that that was a lot, and in my mind I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna drop the weight the next time, and then you're like, you go up the weight and tell me to do 10 more reps. Like, so in my head I just cuss you out. Well, no, out loud. Sorry.
Out loud you cussed me out.
It's not you, it's the
I know,
whatever it is. But yeah, anyway, so like kind of going through those kind of like small wins, nutritional things, and then also like getting a scale. And actually, because my friends she's teasing me and everything, and she's like, really, like, she's for you going in a bodybuilding contest? And then I'm like, no, but like if I want the results, right, like I signed up for this, I'm paying good money for it, then again, like I trust you with it, right? So I was like, all right, let me do that. So it was adjusting that and seeing myself kind of like get used to these small incremental wins, and
I think that's an important factor. There's a few things you mentioned I definitely want to touch base on. I think one of the downfalls a lot of people have when they do start their health journey is they want to do everything all at once without any understanding of what these things really mean. So anyone that's listening out there, I think it's really important just to take one step. just to try and master, understand one step. And then once you have a basic understanding, you know how to implement that, take the next step. One of the other things that definitely, when we had our first call and you said how much carbs you had, now we was on the phone, you didn't see my face, but it's one of those things where you thought because I think you checked the app and your app said that you should have more carbs than I eat a day. And one of the things I did, and this is part of that trusting process, I just said, you know what, let's just tailor it down a little bit, see how you feel. And then I wanted you to show you how your body worked with all of these other things. And I was like, hey, let's just take it down a little more, see how you feel. And correct me if I'm wrong, your strength still went up. Your endurance still went up. Like a lot of people get really, really caught up. You know, the previous segment we talked about was about carbs and low carbs. It's just about that understanding of carbs and where your hierarchy of food is. Same thing for your protein. There's so much people, and I mean, from the teenagers I hear talk to the older adults, they think they need 200, 300 grams of protein a day. But as you've seen, your food was on point. But then the other thing that changed was your intentional movement with training. It wasn't just moving from point A to point B. We focused on how can I make sure the muscle is doing as much work as possible. And then remembering every time you come into the gym, we're going to challenge that muscle if you're looking for continuous results.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way of putting it. But yeah, I think that has been incredible because in my mind, seriously, I would never think that I would pick up the weight that I'm using now and that you make me pick up. But
and I wrote down those numbers just for the audience. So when we first started, your squat was 175, which was really good. Today we got up to 205. Your stiff leg deadlifts, 165. We got up to 255. Chest press, 55 when we first started. You're now at 75-pound dumbbells.
80.
Oh, sorry.
Don't do that.
Sorry, you got to update the app then. 80-pound dumbbells. I apologize.
And 215 for
215 for the squats?
Squats today.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you know what? Yes, because we did legs today.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Lat pull down, 130. And we're currently at 170. 170, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And one of the things to take away even just from the training portion of it is how long are all our sessions?
Half an hour.
Are you in the gym 5 days a week?
No.
So I think a lot of people get caught up in more. They have to be in the gym for an hour. They got to be in the gym 5 days a week. Now, if that's something you want to do, I think that's fine. Do whatever makes you happy. But what I want people to see is that you don't have to be in the gym for so long. If we're thinking about efficiency, the more efficient you are, the less you would need. If anything, efficiency usually means you need less. And then no matter what anyone tells you, because this is now your journey, and this is one of the things we said in our first conversation, I could talk to you about the science. I could talk to you about all of my other clients. It's only when you go through it, you're going to see. So now if anyone says you're only doing 2 sets, that's not enough to build muscle. You could be like, it is.
Yeah, and actually on that point, that was probably one of the biggest humps psychologically to get over, because I was like, this is a scam, bro. That's half an hour. And then because in my head, again, the readings that I've been doing or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, okay, 5-day split, putting in ChatGPT, how can I maximize this, and actually not really appreciating the value of rest, and those elements, because I am using a lot of brain activity, period, with my studies or whatever. But yeah, from the gym, lifting well and getting the max out of that half an hour. Well, actually is an hour, because my half an hour cardio right after.
All right.
No thanks to you. But yeah, that element was really amazing to me in my mind to see the results still happening in that span of time, and it just feels more efficient and kinder to my body and my schedule. Really. Yeah,
because if you're thinking of someone that isn't a professional bodybuilder, they still want results, but they have a daytime job, they got kids, they're not going to have time to be in the gym for an hour, then do an hour of cardio, and then just the toll it takes on your body. So again, I always, and you can attest, I don't like getting into right or wrong when people do stuff. I usually just say it's my way, and I'll always explain why it's my way. But if I can get the most, if I want to do, I want to get the most results with the least amount of work. And that way I can go home and start resting. I can do the other things that I have to do for the average person: grocery shopping, work, kids, husband, wife, whatever the case may be. Don't kill yourself. Don't think you have to kill yourself in the gym just to get those results. What would you say so far is your biggest win?
I think as a Bermudian, well, I'll speak for myself, right? Like, born in the ghetto, kind of like have what I've realized as I get older, like trauma around food, right? So I was like malnourished to a degree as a youth, right? So obviously every time you get around family or you get where there's a meal, I eat like it's my last meal on earth, right? And I have this skinny fat Bermudian mentality, right? Where like I may be small, but like when you see how I eat, like it's just ridiculous. Like I'll be comatose, right? So now to kind of reverse, even like, we were joking earlier about like Easter and different holidays that come up. Normally I'm got like 2.5 plates, right? So this plate has all the meat, this plate has every start, classic kind of Bermudian style. And to reverse that, to me, is like one of the biggest wins, because at first you think, you're telling me eat greens, eat salad, every color vegetable. And I'm like, yo, fam, like this is not it. But then it is actually finding out ways to still eat like where it's enjoyable, but like reprogramming my mind to kind of be like, yo, like health is wealth. Like I would rather be getting a buzz off of eating healthy than to kind of like eat myself into a coma. So that kind of the psychology around the food and the nutritional value. So yeah, I still go a little bit crazy, every night, like me and cake and things is not, in a healthy relationship, but still like to be able to like just monitor that, and now my body it feels like I actually feel like fueled. You know what I mean?
And I think it just comes down to even moderation. Like, when I see on your food log, Easter, like you said, there wasn't no long message. Why are you eating like this? You shouldn't eat like this. You got to eat clean all the time. It's what are you doing consistently? Or we had that conversation in the gym where you're like, okay, I'm going to go and do a little extra. I was like, nope. Just go back to what you were doing all of this time. You having one-off meals isn't going to do you anything. Once you know your body's in a good place, and again, you get right back to that routine. And, you had touched on that mindset of food. Well, a very important part of my program is always changing that mindset. Anyone can change their habits for a while. If you are looking for long-term results, it is that changing of the mindset, having a better understanding of food, not fearing it, but understand it and understand, this is what food is. Food is not something that tastes well. Food is not something I do at family gatherings. It is that what's giving me energy, what's restoring my organs, what's helping me recover. And to a greater degree, you even talk about that comatose state. A lot of that is your blood sugars just dropping because of the amount of food you're intaking. Like, because of what we've done, I've never had to sit down and talk to you about cholesterol, blood sugars, all that stuff. But because of the stuff we're done, you're helping to prevent diabetes. You're helping to prevent hypertension because your body's working efficiently. You're focusing on whole foods. You're focusing on stabilizing your blood sugars. You're focusing on making sure your anti-inflammatories are there. You're not in an inflamed state for too long. And to me, that's always the beautiful thing about health. Feel better. If you're someone who wants to lose weight, lose your weight, but then you're also making sure the future you's going to be in an even better place. So I think that in itself is worth this interview, which you guys get to watch for free on YouTube. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Now, we had talked before about a lot of the things you used to believe versus now. What were some of the ones that really stand out?
Particularly around, maybe, supplements, and like creatine and that old boy. Like I really like, again, how I was able to kind of show that I can fuel my own body naturally, number one, to be able to get stronger. But now we're entering into this stage where I can use a bit of creatine or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like I need that. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have this kind of thing where I'm like, oh yeah, I need that to kind of, now it kind of feels like everything is in order in that sense.
And that's the best way. That's the way I think people should look at supplements, is it's an add-on, because a lot of people think, well, I'm just taking the creatine, and then when the results, they don't get it, they think, okay, well, I just need a different creatine, or I need to add, I need this and need that. A lot of that stuff just comes with, again, the effectiveness of your training. Your body naturally creates creatine. And then the more you're doing this resistance training, the more your natural creatine is going to rise, because it has to adapt to what you're doing. There's creatine in food. And one of the things that always puzzled me, but again, this is coming from people that just don't have that knowledge, but I am going to talk to the people that push the taking of creatine. Like, creatine is part of your mitochondria. If you're not getting in the essential fatty acids, your fish oils, your omega-3s, you're going to have a weak mitochondria. You're not going to have an effective mitochondria. Who cares if you're giving a dead car a brand new engine? You need to make sure your car is stable first, and then give it whatever engine it can handle. So always, I think, is that importance of getting your foundation. And now that you've got your foundations, now that, take your supplements, now you're just going to get even more results because you know that foundation's set. So I think that is a great thing that you kind of see and know that you don't need it, because again, I don't think we haven't plateaued on anything that we've been tracking. And this is even through injuries. When you first started, we had the shoulder injury we had to deal with. You had the tennis elbow we had to deal with. And those are two things so far, knock on wood, we haven't had any issues with. But it is, again, that being progressive with your weight training, but my foundations. And once we're sticking to those foundations, once we're looking for those weak points and making sure, okay, there's no weak link, so there's no pain that should come, I want to see you continue to progress, even though I know you're tired of lifting heavy weight, but that's the life you chose.
I don't know. Still trying to negotiate that.
I don't negotiate. You know that. What was one of the unexpected benefits?
I'm definitely the losing body fat. Like, weirdly enough, like I said, even maybe I was just a bit naive, but signing up to a health thing, in my head, I'm like, yeah, for gains. Yeah. And then you're like, no, let me give you this goal for, whatever weight you gave me. And in my head, I just wasn't expecting that. So now, like, my pants, I have to get new pants. I have to get new shirts. But again, like I said, being like the skinny youth and real short in primary school, I'm still got that kind of like psychological thing in my head, my body dysmorphia. So it's like, I'm looking at a guy that's 6'5", and in my head, I'm thinking like, like maybe I want a bit of that, but knowing that it's completely unrealistic for my height, so the science around it, and knowing that my height kind of has some influence on my BMI or whatever and such. But now I'm kind of like just coming more into my own lane now, like in terms of like what my body's like. And so now I feel like I'm carrying around decent weight. Like I just don't, like I look back at old pictures of me like months ago or whatever, and I had that skinny fat kind of thing going on, you know what I mean? And I'm like I felt okay, but you're just like, you can see the fat, like just kind of like in those different extremities. So now to see that being removed, I'm like, oh snap, I didn't sign up for that. I definitely didn't sign up for getting a whole new wardrobe either, but idiot.
Which I don't pay for, just so you know. And I think there's a reason I wanted you to be the first one we do on this podcast. A lot of people get caught up in just weight loss when they want to start their health journey. Again, I think weight loss is a side effect potentially, but I don't think it should be a focal point. I liked your journey because you didn't come to me for weight loss, but I knew once we started to make those changes, we were going to just start using some of that body fat. So I think even scale wise, you've probably come down 5-7 pounds, but in actuality, if you're thinking of the fat loss and muscle you probably put on, it's probably closer to about 10 pounds of body fat that you've lost. And that's with us not focusing on that. All we focused on was, all right, what does your body actually need? What does it need nutritional wise? What does it need? Protein, fats, carbs. I want you to get in your cardio. So when you're doing your squats and other things, you have the capacity to keep going, especially with squats, as you can attest to, your body gets really tired. So you do need some form of stamina just to kind of help with that. And without killing you, without having you do 2 hours of cardio a day, correct? Any fat burners, any no waist trainers, right? Just making sure you've been able to get results.
Yeah.
And this is you, I believe you said 40, right?
Yeah.
So at a time where most people are complaining about, I'm putting on weight too quick, I feel weak, I have no energy. Your energy is improved, your strength is improved, your body fat's coming down, your muscle mass is increased because you changed your lifestyle. Like whenever people talk about, oh, I hit this age, I feel this way, I think they miss that component. It's an accumulation of damage of what you've been doing. Whatever you've been doing for those years before is why you are where you are now. So if you were to change the lifestyle, you could potentially change where you are. And I think the best thing is trying to get to that earlier, because your body needs time to heal. And depending on who you are can dictate how much time it needs to heal. But if, you started this in your 20s, where would you be now? And I think that's one of the big messages I always try and get through people. Don't worry about your age. Think of what's your lifestyle. Once you could change that lifestyle, hopefully you can change everything else around it. So what was one of the struggles? What was one of the challenges you had to face, rather physically or mentally? And how did you overcome it?
Bruh, you have to ask me that?
You are not going to talk about training. Not training with me.
Yo, seriously. I mean, coming back to what you said, right? Like, we got a half an hour and you got your half an hour's worth, like, plus some. Like, it really is. I'm not even joking. It's a real, I come in, I'm all psyched up. I'm like, okay, great. Keep your mouth shut today. Don't cuss. But like, you push me, you know what I'm saying? And it pushes my buttons, man. And I'm trying not to kind of psych out and look weak in front of people, but you take me there. But I think that's a challenge. Like, and my legs, funny enough, they are the thing that has grown the fastest and I think the biggest in terms of mass. But like, I hate that. Like, I'm not the type of guy. I look at people and I'm like, are they enjoying this? Like, do they enjoy it? I don't like it, but I like the results.
That's it.
So like, I keep going, but and I always knew that, right? Because I used to be a dancer, used to be into sports when I was growing up. So I'm kind of like a little bit athletic, you know what I mean? But at this stage, I just haven't really been doing much of that. So like, if I didn't have a trainer like you, I would never, I pick up a weight. I'm like, oh, yep, nope. And just walk on. Now it's like, you're forcing me to go and pick and lift these weights that I would just never do. So breaking through that, I don't think that's ever going to change. I think I'm just going to continue, raging against that. But,
raging against me.
No, I'm trying to be kind now. You know what I mean? Like, it's, yeah. But, that was, cause honestly, seriously, I'll say it again. Like, I just wouldn't lift the weight that I do and do the things that I do the way I do if I didn't have you there pushing me.
What's one of the habits or patterns you used to have that you've left behind? Oh, you get deep.
Yeah, I think again it's related to food. You know what I mean? Just sloppy eating. Like, I eat very intentional. Like, I'm back in Burmese, right? So that's like a minefield, but I'm like, okay, I go miles for my sweet potato. I go here for like garden market for this. So I go, and then kind of, but like now I'm just very intentional. And, I eat four meals a day, and around those meals, and this again, my best friend just teases me about that because she's like, all you do is talk about macros and go sleep. And I'm like, yeah, because that's what I'm concentrated on. But yeah, so like, I've just really broken those, like, I'm real intentional around how I eat, and I'm not just like eating anything anymore.
You feel comfortable with all the changes, take out the training stuff. That's why you have me, with the mindset changes, the habit changes. Do you feel comfortable, even when we're finished this program, going forward and continuing?
Yeah. I think that's the wickedest thing. Like, it says it on the tin, right? Like, we're your lifestyle clients, you know what I mean? So it is a lifestyle now. And I know I could be a little bit annoying to people around me, even at my office, cause I'm like helping one of my ace girls. I'm like, yeah, no, let's go for a walk around the block. And what are you eating? You got too much of that and da. And like, but it is a lifestyle, and I like it. Like, I'm not perfect, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, but I do just like the long game to it, and just trying to also make sure that my insides match my outsides, if that's possible.
Yeah, and I think that autonomy is extremely important. Again, these are the conversations we had day one. You're lifestyle clients, but I don't want you for life. And for me, to really tell if our story is a success story is I want to see you a year from now. I want to see that you're able to keep up with everything. To me, those are the success stories, not, we lost a few pounds, but then you put it back on and you stop training. So I think going into any journey, if you can understand how to make it a lifestyle, and then we've been working together for a few months. This wasn't like, hey, 90 days and then you're out, but all along the way, my job is he understanding? Does he understand not just what to do, but why he's doing it? And once I know you have that understanding, once I know you have that basic understanding of food, basic understanding of nutrition, even with that, then it makes it easier to have those conversations with you because you know my definition of health. How is whatever it is you're talking about help making you full, help making you balanced. And I think that is always going to be important to make sure, if I didn't see you for a year, even when you go away, you might not be in the exact same situations, but okay, I got to get this in. How? Because of the conversations. Okay, I don't have access to this, but I have access to that. Okay, how do I get this in here? Okay, I know because we had these conversations. So I think that is extremely important. And I think that's going to help you in the long run. And I'll just keep telling you to keep doing it. I want you to think of something you want to tell the past you. And then I also want you to think of what message you can leave for the future you.
Yeah, I would just say to the past me, like, take it easy, like just take it easy on yourself, mentally, physically, take it easy. And, the future me, I think it's same thing in a way, but just be consistent, just be consistent and kind and gentle with yourself, but also disciplined.
And your trainer.
Yeah, working on it. Working on it.
I think that's good. Give me an overall experience. Give me a definition or describe your overall experience on the program.
Yeah, it's been incredible. Seriously, one of the best investments in myself that I've made in a long time. You know what I mean? Because that's the other part too. Like, if anybody is, they are watching or listening to this, like, I think
2,000 people.
Yeah. Like, I think it is a proper investment. Like, that's just how I see it. Like, because it's going to continually, like you said, hopefully pay dividends, you know what I mean? Beyond you know. So I just think it's a worthwhile investment. And yeah, I appreciate everything that I've gotten so far.
That's great to hear. Would you recommend this program for others?
Yeah, I already have, So yeah, that's a no-brainer. Definitely check them out.
In closing, anything you want to add?
No, but really, the people in the gym, I'm a nice person, and yeah.
We'll see if they believe you or not.
Sorry, Grandma. Yeah.
Guys, that's the episode for today. Thank you for watching for Health and Happiness. Again, this will be up on Saturday on our podcast stations on Thursday. And until next time, be happy, be healthy. Don't forget, like, follow, and subscribe. Let's grow together. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And check out some of the other videos on the page. And until next time, be happy, be healthy.